After days of mounting pressure...
What kind of Victorian abandons Victorians in their hour of need?
This idea that we're working hand in glove, but they never put their hand in their pocket, is nothing short of a disgrace.
When we most need their support, the answer from the Prime Minister and the Treasurer is no.
This bullshit artist is abandoning Victoria in our hour of need.
Today, the federal government stepped up.
What we'll be putting in place is what we are calling the temporary COVID disaster payment.
The payment, available to all states, applies for lockdowns longer than 7 days. $500 is on offer for workers who usually work more than 20 hours a week, $325 for those who work less.
Victorians just want to know that they're getting help next week, and they'll be able to do this from Tuesday in making an application online with Services Australia.
But there are some strings. The Commonwealth, not the state, has to declare the area a hotspot. The person can't be on any other kind of support payment or have access to special pandemic leave. And if you have liquid assets of more than 10 grand, you're ineligible.
We're talking about someone getting through the next week who would ordinarily be in an economic situation where every dollar counts.
The Prime Minister has been dragged kicking and screaming to his announcement today.
How pathetic and cruel and out of touch this Prime Minister is to think that communities will lock themselves down as some kind of cash grab.
The payment still has to get the all clear from National Cabinet amid quibbling over who will pay for what.
We should 50-50 share both payments. Go 50-50 on household, go 50-50 on business.
In terms of income support for workers, that is a responsibility of the federal government.
Either way, we'll work it out. What matters is that businesses get the support they need, that households get the support they need.
Support which can't come soon enough for struggling Victorians.
Well, Finance Minister Simon Birmingham joins us now. Minister, this disaster payment is very welcome news, but there are a lot of criteria to work through, like the federal government being the only ones deemed able to declare a hotspot. Why wouldn't you just trust the state's judgment?
Look, this is about providing a helping hand to those retail workers, hospitality workers, others who might have been stood down and be facing 0 hours and zero pay at present. We've put it in place, and the hotspot definition is there as a safeguard, but we've shown a practical approach in relation to hotspots. And right now, those people in Melbourne who face another week of continued lockdown can know and be confident that they qualify, and this helping hand will be there for them.
A safeguard against what exactly? Like, which lockdowns that have gone more than 7 days in Australia do you think have been unnecessary and need a safeguard?
Well, I can't say that there are any, but it's appropriate that we have a definition in place, and the Commonwealth has long had a definition of a hotspot there, and that will help to trigger a payment in future. But we've been practical, and I can't imagine that there would be circumstances in future where a state would be imposing this length of lockdown and that it wouldn't also be a Commonwealth hotspot. So I think that's a technicality. What matters here is that there's some help coming the way of Victorians going into their second week of lockdown.
Victorians can apply online for this next Tuesday. Still 5 days away. We've spoken to people like Ed last night on the show who are struggling to put food on the table now. What is the hold-up?
Well, there is some IT work. This is obviously the first time this payment has been applied, and we're using systems that we are confident will quickly process the claims and quickly get the cash into the bank accounts of individuals. But it does require those systems to be built over the course of the weekend, and I assure Victorians that we will be making sure we get it done as quick as possible, and most importantly, once they've applied, they will get the cash in the bank as quick as possible.
The other big announcement that came late today was that your government has agreed to co-fund a purpose-built quarantine facility that Victoria has been proposing. It's had on the table since April. Going back what would have been more than a month now, when you were getting questions about hotel quarantine, your government was really insistent that the hotel quarantine system was sufficient, saying it was world-class, it was 99% effective, etc. And now you've had this development. Is this an admission that our hotel quarantine system actually, in the end, wasn't sufficient?
No, it's not. It's about creating additional capacity. Victoria put this proposal to us about creating additional capacity for quarantine in Australia. We've said from the very day in which Victoria released it that we welcomed the fact it was a detailed proposal, that we were engaging with them, working with them through it, and what we've provided now is a memorandum of understanding for Victoria to enter into with the Commonwealth Government, where we will work through that, fund the construction of it as a federal facility. Victoria will operate it as they indicated in their announcement, and that it will provide additional places on top of hotel quarantine for returning Australians and essential travellers into our country.
Okay, so when the states say, as they are saying now right around the country, hotels were not built for quarantine, we are getting these leaks that are leading to outbreaks because there are people in quarantine and transmission is happening between people who are in quarantine. It's becoming a source of transmission, not a way of protecting Australians. When the states make that criticism, are you saying to us right now that you still reject that premise?
Well, it is still a fact that more than 99% of people who have passed through hotel quarantine have done so very safely. It's also a fact, though, that COVID is a very infectious virus, and no system that allows people into Australia who may have COVID is going to be 100% foolproof.
Well,
so
Howard Springs has been 100% foolproof so far. That's the point. And 99% is great, but the 1% really, really matters in a situation like this. So are you disputing the adequacy or the appropriateness of hotel quarantine?
But Waleed, I can't guarantee, and neither can you, that there couldn't be an outbreak from Howard Springs, as you've got catering staff, cleaners, security, others in relation to that operation, as there are in any other. So we want to make sure in every instance that where there's an outbreak, where there is something that's a breach, everyone learns the lessons, tightens the restrictions. But Australia is doing this still better than anywhere else really in the world, managing to bring people back, but in a very secure situation compared to the outbreaks we're seeing right around the world. The new Victorian proposal that we will fund and that we're entering into with the Victorian government is about creating extra places for now and for the COVID pandemic period, but it will also then provide a new lasting facility that can be used for potentially other purposes or other crises into the future.
Finance Minister Simon Birmingham, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
From expert opinions to in-depth analysis and reporting, the Project YouTube brings you the biggest stories from Australia and around the globe. Hit the subscribe button now for news delivered straight to your feed.